Hello, everybody. Welcome to Raw Vibrant Health. This is my show. My name is Light. If you're new, thank you for coming. Hope you guys like the show. As always, give me a like, subscribe, support me, help me with a comment. Put the comment, yep, boop, 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 anything. Because then it makes me feel like, whoa, this is helping people. And I do get a lot of really great feedback. So I wanted to thank you guys again, all of you guys. Cloud Spirals, always commenting, dude or dudette. I don't know if you're a guy or girl, but all of you guys, thank you for the continued support. And hit the bell to stay notified. And oh, by the way, guys, so I started a TikTok, and I have my fingers crossed that they're not gonna to me. Hope they don't do that to me there. I'm just trying to have a voice, A, and also make a living, B. So, yeah. So, follow me on there. I think it's going to be fun. So far it's starting to go, and I think it's going to work as long as I don't say anything that's true, right? Any truth. People don't like the truth. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Sorry, I got distracted there. But yeah, I'm gonna put probably a lot of my not that old, but older stuff on there. Like that's what I'm doing now. But I like that you can post, like pictures too. It's gonna be great because I never had the Instagram. I didn't bother because they're same company, totally just to me. So I think it's gonna be cool there. Anyways, let me talk to you guys about why, for me, the raw foods and the fasting is like the highest honor for our Creator, for the creative force, whatever you wish to call that, whatever word you want to use, the universe, God, any of it. Why is it such an honor to live this way? You know? Why is it such an honor to live this way? First of all, they talk about fasting in all of these texts, right? All of the texts. Yet 99.999% of people who are religious don't fast. They can't even fast for a day. They can't even juice fast for a day, let alone water fast. So it's just crazy that the most important things people aren't even doing. Because it really, like the fasting and the raw food, even if you're doing like simple, basic, light raw foods, you know what I mean? Like clean, with not a lot of flavors and oils and just simple. You can still detox a little bit with that, but but the real thing is the water fasting. When you do the water fasting, it's so freaking deep. It gets to the deepest cores of any kind of issues that you have. Anything that is blocked, it's just going to straighten every little thing out. When you just get there and you're in the arms of nature, you're in the best doctor that you could ever go to, and it's free. And it really just heals every little single part of you. You face everything. It's not always easy, but you are directed so clearly when you're doing, especially a water fast. You're directed with exactly what you need to do and what you need to change, and it's going to heal your physical body, your mental stuff. It's going to heal your emotional stuff on such a level, and of course spiritually it's going to just wipe things, and it's also going to loosen things. You're going to start having this stuff come out that is like insane. I know I've said it so many times, this mucoid plaque is so real, guys. I mean, trust me, I just saw it yesterday. I saw it today. Granted, I don't have that much of it anymore because I keep a sort of a tight ship on my health. I'm not perfect at all, but this stuff. these mucus forming foods will harden. They'll harden in your body and turn into rubber. Literally, it looks like rubber. And it doesn't smell good. So you know it might have been in there I don't know how long. So yeah, yeah, you get that coming out. You got stuff coming out of any way that it wants to. You know, that's the power of the fasting and yeah, the raw. Just simple. Yeah, like if you're changing your diet to from omnivore to a clean vegan, that's going to change a lot, right? Or if you change from omnivore to 80% raw, that's going to change. That could be massive for you, just in your perception. Your perception of the world, your perception of yourself, your yeah, like when these doors of perceptions that we have are just, that's what Aldous Huxley said, right? But who is like into the psychedelics, but when the doors of perception are cleansed, things will appear as they truly are, infinite, right? But the same thing can be applied totally to to fasting and raw foods, because really, and believe me, guys, I psychedelics were a very large part of my life for a while was actually as close to a shaman as you can pretty much get if you're a little, white boy. So, but the thing I like about the thing that's similar about them is before you trip, it's usually scary because it's like bring up all your stuff. It's the same thing with the fasting. It's a spiritual experience, and there's it's a lot better. I would recommend doing fasting any day because and just eating fruit. Just eating fruit, I can just feel it's just like a trip because eventually, maybe not the first day, but probably the second day or third day, every day your stuff is going to come up. Your stuff is going to come up, and are you going to be able to deal with it? Because you don't have anything to run away from, especially if you're on juices, juices, fruits, even fruits, and then a very light salad at night, or even sometimes not that light at night. It's going to bring your stuff up, you know? And yeah, I think that's something I haven't really said a lot because every time I used to trip, I would get a little, well, not always, but for a while, I would get a little afraid, right? And it's the same thing with the water fast. You get afraid, and then once you do it, it's like you're gonna have some rough stuff depending on how long you go and how healthy you are, but it's always gonna be so worth it. You're gonna find the keys that you have locked inside of you. These keys are locked, you know? These all this all of these emotions and all this stuff, it's stored in the body, guys. It's stored in the body. All of these experiences we've had, and if we haven't processed things, and if we've eaten too much of this or too much of that, and it's like, it just baffles me that people, they don't know what they're missing. Fasting is free. Fasting is free. It cleans you on every single level. Every single level. It baffles me that people, they'll do anything at all possible to run from their own stuff. And me included, I'm not perfect. Even I eat too much fruit sometimes, I'll eat too much fruit or I'll eat too much raw food, gourmet, or yeah, and I do have cooked foods once in a while, not all the time, but we always just want to run from stuff, and it's not comfortable when you're in that friction, right? But when you get past it, it's like I can see clearly now. The sun is here. I can see all the obstacles in my way, and it's And that goes with juice fasting too. It doesn't, I mean, juice fasting, raw foods, it's so special. It's very sacred, and it's seriously like so. You know, it's living in harmony with nature. Like it's following the laws of nature. No other species cooks their food, right? And if you look into this and you think about it, like sometimes I'll think about it like, wow, cooking the food, you can see how the cooking the food was just like pushing a domino down on humans, and then that led to this, that led to this, and now you have these, you know, psychopaths who have been trying. Well, they've been doing it for so long, but now they're trying to, you know, wipe away society, and they're not even hiding it anymore, and you see that every little thing could be definitely, wow, people are cooking their food, and I don't judge anyone for what they do, but when you really sit back and you look at this, you're like, you can see how each little facet of society, every little part has been affected by this. And then plus there's just the other thing of why eating raw food is such a spiritual thing, and fasting is it's so spiritual, because go to the grocery store. You go to the grocery store, 98% of the stuff at the grocery store, guess what? You think it's food? 98% of the stuff at the grocery store is, I don't know, 95% is not food. And it's getting escalated. I didn't think it could get worse 15 years ago. You look at it now, it's like, oh my gosh. And then they constantly, like if you're eating anything processed, it's just constantly they're trying to hide what's in the stuff, so they put up a new name in place of it, so that you don't, so you're not, like, for example, so you're not buying MSG. That's just one little example, but they're doing this with other things. It's bizarre. So the most natural way to eat is fruits and some vegetables, right? And some soaked nuts and seeds. That's the most natural. That's the most. Uh, it's alive. Do I have to say it? Like when you're eating something that has that vibration, that vibratory field, those atoms that are just electrified. What happens when you eat that? You're gonna get that. But if you eat dead things, denatured things, things that are, fried, things things that are you can't pronounce. I mean, if you eat something and there's even 5 ingredients in it, I mean, guys, best to avoid the processed food. And then when you do that, you eliminate things like gluten or, yeah, dairy or meat or whatever. Then you find that, wow, you just have plants to eat, and people think, well, you can't do that long term. There's no long term raw food people. Well, you're very mistaken. There's plenty of them. Okay, there's not many healthy looking long term fruitarians. Ann Osborne, and that's probably it. But and I have nothing against people who are doing that. People who can be long term fruitarian, dang, they can face. They must be really emotionally strong. But in my opinion, I don't think that it's going to work like really long term, unless you're growing the food yourself. You put rock dust, you put good minerals in there, and love you and your friends and family grew it. Like, do you? I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to work with the minerals and just, you know what I mean. And yeah, but if you can do it, if you want to do it, cool. But I like balance personally. But yeah, yeah. And the stuff that happened lately with the girl who died, I don't know anything about her. I don't know her, but I do know that my awareness was just, sorry, this is my opinion, and my my heart goes out to anyone that knew her, but just I know that, okay, sorry, that's an eating disorder. Like, anyone can have an eating disorder. So people right now are there. You can just see everyone's blaming the diet, and it's like, oh my gosh, the diet. Anyone can be bulimic. Anyone can be anorexic. It's really sad, and these people need help. They need to get support, and yeah, it's the mind. That's yeah. Even especially me. Even especially me. It's like you think that. I mean, people are crazy. People. It's the eating vegan and fasting and all this isn't going to really do that much. If you're yo-yoing or you have really dark stuff that you haven't processed. I'm trying to process so much stuff right now, and sometimes it feels like there's a never-ending amount of it that you got to process. So I feel for people out there who are going through stuff. But yeah, if you need help with something, you got to seek it out. You got to ask for help. You got to ask for help, and you got to eat those foods. Like when you're eating just a meal of mangoes, you're just eating a watermelon or half a watermelon or a papaya or two papayas. You're in that. Especially when you turn on. That's the one thing that I do good. I don't do everything good, but I do almost every time when I'm eating the meal. I prefer to eat alone so I can just sit there with it, and I don't put anything on a screen, and I just sit there with it, and it's the most spiritual experience. And you get so satisfied. You get so satisfied by just the sweet flavors or the textures and all the hydration, and you're just it's a meditation. Anything can be a meditation. And everything that should be our goal when we leave after we meditate. If we meditate, then we go on out into the world and we're meditating every second. That's the goal, right? But it's hard. But, but yeah, I mean, and then there's you know when people just when their brain turns on, like it turns on because the mucoid plaque comes out. The colon got cleaned, but also the the small intestine. Small intestine is huge. It's 22 feet long, according to, I just looked it up. People always talk about the colon, but the small intestine it is thinner, but it is way, way longer, and that's where your food will hit first. So if you're eating too much cooked stuff, that's going to clog up first, and then you're going to have to wait however long, even if you're fasting. I mean, even if you're going to, sorry, I'm just out of it. Even if you're, really, really trying hard, it can take some time for these layers to come out unless you've done some prior fasting and you keep up with it. And it's like people, when their brain turns on, like me, my brain, just a couple days on juice, and I'm like, cool, that's kind of all I needed in a way. But in another way, it's like, no, I need to do my 30-day water fast, and I'm just trying to get the right place to do it, and also at least feel a little support from one person or two people, so that I can just go ahead and do it. But yeah, when like I feel every time that I get back on the juices, and it's like, or water fast, and it's like, bam, I get the brain, the clarity, and then when I break the fast, I do better than the last time I broke it, and I can just continue that nice streak, and then I have that renewed vitality, that rejuvenation of the physical body, There's no more, there's not, at least not a bunch of mucus blocking my brain and my ears and everywhere in my body. The brain, the mind-body connection, that can, the way that the mind-body connection is when you have nothing in your colon and you have a pretty clean small intestine, at least surface level, is incredible. It's incredible, and you have to experience this to find out what it's all about. You gotta experience it. You can't just read this in a book. You gotta experience the way that this feels. The mind-body connection, I've never experienced it with any other lifestyle or any other thing. It's amazing. And what was I gonna say? Oh, it was so important. That mind-body connection, you get it. Yeah, when nothing is like blocking the flow, you're just sharp. And I'm not the sharpest because I still have things coming out of me, but I'm going like in and out between and blocked, and just when you experience this feeling, it is gonna change your life, and if you're serious, you really want truth, you really want me, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be like the life regenerator or anything, but who knows? I mean, I have so much work to do. I have so much work to do, and I don't know what I was gonna say, but I don't want this to be too long, and I hope you guys like this. Of course, give me this, and enjoy the ride, guys. Enjoy the ride. That's all you can do, is just witness, observe. Cool. There's things that are pleasant, things that are unpleasant, things that are pleasant, things that are unpleasant. And then, nope, there's no story being made about them. There's no past, there's no future. There's just, you're here now and you're sitting with your stuff wherever you are. Maybe you're eating fruits, maybe you're still eating too much food that is blocking you. It's just filling you up more and more. Or you're just fasting, or I don't care what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, be there with yourself. Be there with it, Be there with it, Because a lot of people, myself included, the hardest drug for me to kick is the food. It's the only drug I do is food. And people think food is not a drug, and it is such a drug. And, for people like me and a lot of other people my friends and people I've worked with who are like getting really clean inside, internally, guys, it doesn't take much sometimes for things to get a little clogged, it's generally surface level, right? But sometimes it doesn't take much, so just be aware that the cooked foods can be a slippery slope. And of course, raw foods, if you're eating super heavy raw foods, tons of nuts and oils and all that, some people can handle that a little bit better if they're healthy, but that's definitely, you can definitely escape with heavy raw foods. You can definitely escape with them, and try to keep it light when you can, and just sit with yourself, sit with the things that come up. And there's going to be times when it is so brutally uncomfortable, like lately, and you got to go through it. You got to go through the fire, and the other side is, like I said earlier, is a magical thing. And let me know if some of you guys still watch my long videos. I've been really playing around with things, switching things up, and just trying to figure out how this can work, because I don't have many in-person consultations and stuff. So here we go again, trying to do this. And also, I do really like to do this. I would like it a little bit more if I could, yeah, like, yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about what I don't want, but I do want to say what I do love, and I do love you guys. That's it. We'll see if this one gets, this one is just going off, going up. I don't know, maybe it worked. Maybe it worked. I hope you got something out of it. Peace.